Hi, Keith McGowan here, the Outboard Dad. Please like, subscribe, and send me any comments. Today I just want to talk about how I got into outboards and how I got into boating. It's an interesting story for me, of course, because it's my story. A lot of people have gotten involved for different reasons, and I think most of it is they went out on a boat and they enjoyed it and said, hey, I want to do that. Fortunately for me, I had a gentleman, Roger, that I knew. So he took me out on his boat. Actually, his son took me out on his boat. I was friends with his son. It was a great summer. I think it was 1985, 86. Yes, I'm getting old here with the gray. But anyways, my friend Roger and his son Roger invited me to their shore house for a couple overnights, and it was a great experience. And they had an 18-foot Boston Whaler with 150 horsepower outboard. He said, well, we're going to go out on the boat. I said, oh, okay. And I hadn't really been out on boats before. I could swim. My parents had a pool in the backyard, so I knew how to swim, but really hadn't done much boating before. I believe my dad took me out on a boat one time. I think it was a 26-foot wooden boat that we went blue fishing on. But, I was really young. I kind of vaguely remember it. So went down to shore, Roger's place. It's a family friends. My friend Roger's father, who's also named Roger, was friends with my dad, and let me stay there a couple nights. It was really cool. We went out on that boat and we came in that afternoon, and I was like, man. And Roger's senior said to me, "How'd you like that?" And I said it was great. I have to get one of these. Now I was thinking about the mechanics of it as well, but the fun that we had out in the bay. We went to Tice's Shoal in Barnegat Bay and we're scooping up crabs. We anchored up the boat. He had thrown a surfboard in the boat. We anchored the boat, took the keys out, and went across the road to an Island Beach State Park and did some surfing and came back. It was just such a blast having that fun with that boat. When we came back in that night, that afternoon, washed the boat down. He had cushions he had snapped off of it and put underneath the console. Right, so it was just really cool. I had a lot of fun doing it, and when we came back and had dinner, we were sitting out on the porch that evening, and Roger Sr. says, "So you want to get a boat, huh?" Yeah. He says, "What kind of boat you want to get?" I said, I don't know. This is really only one, but this was a lot of fun." And he said, "Let me tell you." And that's when he started to share with me the wisdom that he had from all the years of boating. I don't remember how old he was at the time. If I was 18, he was at least in his 50s, and maybe late 40s. And he just shared with me all the different boats he had, all the different problems that he had with those boats. He learned about the maintenance of the boats. He had inboard outboards. He had outboards. He had straight inboards. And he said, that boat that I have out there right now, we've had for 2 years, and it's been the best boat. It's the easiest to maintain. I would never go back to an inboard outboard again. He said, I get why people buy them. They're a little quieter. Back then, these two-strokes, they smoked a lot. They don't as much now, and now we have four-stroke outboards. But he said, it's the best boat, and that's when I said, okay. And I went home, and I said, I'm going to get a boat. And I started looking. There was a publication called The Salty Dog, and I would look through The Salty Dog with my dad, looking at a boat. And he said, listen, why don't we go in partners for a boat? And I was like, wow, this is a great idea. But he wanted an inboard outboard, and he wanted to have all the cushioned seats around, and it's a quieter running engine, more of a entertainment boat than a fishing and sport kind of boat. And I wanted the center console. I listened to what Roger said. So we ended up getting two separate boats. And my dad was really good with maintenance with his boat, so he didn't have major problems with his inboard outboard. We also didn't leave it in the water like Roger did, so we had less challenges with it and flushed it regularly. So he didn't have a lot of problems. But I had my outboard boat for 22 years. And Dad and I went fishing on my boat. We went fishing on his boat. We took care of each other's boats, and we had a blast doing it. But that's kind of what got me started in it. I also was fortunate when I was in junior high school. They had a small engines class when I was in 8th grade. So it was really great back then to have a shop class. I had a teacher teach me how the engines worked. So I had a good basic knowledge of motors. I had worked at a local lawnmower shop for a couple years and learned, maybe it was a year and a half I'd worked there, learned a lot from Ronnie, the owner of the place. And learned actually locksmithing as well. It was a locksmith place. So when I got the boat, I started to get the manual, read how to take care of it. And yes, I broke some things and had some problems, but over the years, I ran that boat for 22 years, not with the same motor. And the reason it wasn't the same motor is because I goofed, because back then you had to mix. It was a 1979 motor and you had to mix the oil and gas. And of course, I mixed it wrong, didn't put enough oil in it. And little by little, the motor got slower and slower and slower till I realized what I did wrong. And by that time, the engine already needed a rebuild. And it was probably 18 years old at the time by the time that damage really surfaced. And it was just better for me to get another motor for it, which I bought another used motor that the compression was good on and put it on there, did all the maintenance to it, ran it for another few years, and sold it. I think I paid $6,500, $6,700 for it in '86 maybe, and sold it 22 years later for $3,500 with a different motor on it, but still an old 70s motor was on it. And it was a solid Hydrosports boat. I also had a neighbor of mine, Mark, who lived right next door. He had a larger boat. He was nice enough to take me out fishing on his boat one time. He was a shark fisherman. And he said Hydrosport was a good boat. He said, get a Boston Whaler, a Mako. Hydrosport is good, so I went with it and had many, many years of success. So it's people like that that shared that kind of knowledge with me. Then there was a local parts guy at DNR Boats in Greenbrook, and that local parts guy I still talk to today. I was maybe 18, 19 years old when I first went in there getting advice from him, and I called him just the other day about Hector's boat here that we're working on to get some advice from him. So it's been a great experience boating. I want people to have a better experience and not let fear hold them back, but also understanding the maintenance. We're dealing with the issues with Hector's boat now because some simple maintenance items weren't taken care of. My guess is that the place he went to and spent a lot of money for repairs just did the repair to get him back on the water and never really talked to him about what else he needs to do to maintain his boat. And there's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of publications out there, but are they from a personal experience? Now, Hector's had a really experience with this. He's going to have to make some decisions to see what he wants to do. But that's how I got into boating. Just wanted to share that. My buddy Mike Epps said you should share that story. And so there it is. I hope it helps. Please like, subscribe, and let me know what you want me to talk about or what you need to know. And let me know your experiences on the boat. Maybe we'll do a Zoom call together and share together what we can do and build a community here that can help each other have a better boating experience. Have a great day.